My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. What I have here is the Teton Sports Mountain Ultra Tent, the 4-person version. This is a big tent, folks. In this episode, we're taking a look at it together, going over the features, going over the stats, and we're going to check on the quality of this tent together to see whether or not Teton Sports has maintained their level of quality over the years. This is a first look at a large tent, and we might as well get started with a component breakdown. To start off here, everybody, we have the storage bag. We have a grab handle up top, a draw pull over here on the side, and that's pretty much it. It does appear that the storage bag is huge compared to the size of the tent, meaning when it's time to break down this tent, you should be able to get it to fit inside of this bag rather easily. Around the tent, we have 2 compression straps, both with buckles. These are awesome. I much rather have a tent with these compression straps than those fabric ones. I hate the fabric ones. Companies should not do that. It's just a waste. Everybody ends up throwing those away or they lose them at the campsite. Here we have the poles, and we'll come back to those in just a second. We have tent stakes, guy lines. We have a mesh gear caddy that goes up at the top. Here we have the fly. And here we have the body. Let's take a look at the tent stakes and the guy lines, and let's see what else is inside of this bag. The first thing that I want to point out here is that this bag actually has a draw pull. This company has spared no expense, even though this is a very budget-friendly tent. Oftentimes with well-known companies, they will forego even draw pulls like this and have bags that require that you tie them up. Very poor quality. It's a way basically for them to save money. But Teton Sports did not do that. So what we have here are setup instructions. We have 4 guy lines, and we have 10 tent stakes. Now we have the poles for this tent. Again, we have a draw pull. We have aluminum poles. And here in a second, we'll find out how many there are. I suspect 3. Pole number 1 here. Pole number 2, and we have pole number 3. As you all can see here, the Teton Sports tent has been set up. The overall setup process is very simple. Again, we have 3 poles, they crisscross, and you have one that goes over the top to pull the sides out. The setup process, super simple, anybody can do it. Also, I should mention this, the tent is tall, but it's not so tall that it's difficult to clip everything on. That's a good thing. What we have here is a tent that is covered in mesh. We have a bathtub floor that sticks up about 7 inches. We have 2 doors. All of the seams have been taped on the floor, and we have 2 mesh pockets on the inside of the tent. With me being inside of this tent now it's a good time to measure it. What we're looking at is a tent that is 4 feet 10 inches tall, 58 inches. The tent is 6 feet 5 inches wide, and it is 7 feet 7 inches long. My friends, this is a very, very big tent. It is long, it is wide, it is tall. To make sure that you're putting the fly on correctly, the company has color-coded this. In one of the corners, we have a red strap that attaches to this red strap and buckle. With the fly on the tent, we can now take a look at the features of the fly itself. The first thing that hits me is that the company has adjustable stakeout points for every single point on the fly. We have shock cord at the doors and shock cord at the sides, thus being fully adjustable. And at the same time, it keeps tension on the fabric. So if it stretches, it's okay. And that's because we have the tension of the shock cord. This is a point that a lot of companies get wrong. They miss this. and that's because they do not test out, they do not use their own products. When it comes to the Fly, the stakeout points need to be adjustable, and you need to be able to stake out the sides, like you can with this tent here. Staking out the sides pulls the Fly away from the body, and that increases ventilation. Increased ventilation reduces condensation. All of these points are exactly what you want in a 3-season tent. We have storm flaps that go over the zippers for the doors. Each of the door panels can be rolled back and tied up. Again, we have 4 guy line points, and on each side of this tent, we have vents. Before I share my thoughts concerning this tent so far, let me go ahead and go over some stats. This tent is available in 4 different sizes: a 1-person, 2-person, 3-person, and 4-person. It is available in 3 colors: orange, gray, and red. This is the gray version, and honestly folks, you could easily argue whether this is gray or white. It's right at that line. It could go either way. When it comes to the materials, we are looking at a 150D polyester Oxford. The floor is a 150 denier polyester Oxford. We have B3FR micro mesh, 7001 T6 aluminum poles, and we have aluminum shepherd hook tent stakes. As far as the hydrostatic head rating goes for this tent, I have no idea, as the company does not state this information. When the tent is all packed up, it's a big boy. This is 27 inches long by 7.5 inches. As far as the weight goes, again, this is a big boy. This is 10.1 pounds. Lastly, as far as the retail price goes, you're looking at $200. But with that being said, at the time of filming, this is on sale for $164 on Amazon. Now it's time to go over my impressions of this tent so far. This is a first look, of course. I'm going to begin testing this out now. As far as the looks go of this tent, I do like it. I purchased the gray color. Is this gray? I don't know. It is right at that point. If I had to pick what color I think this is, I would say white. But with that being said, it looks fine. It looks good. It's in my opinion that the colors that this tent is available in, they're good looking. They are much better than what many companies are offering right now. So many companies are offering these incredibly ugly tents. I cannot imagine for a second that those companies are selling many tents like that. Because of that, I'm going to say good job Teton Sports for not going insane with your coloring. With that being said, I would love to see like a dark green, maybe a coyote brown, or even a black version of this tent. As far as the quality goes of the Mountain Ultra 4-person tent, it is top-notch. Teton Sports continues with the trend of making high-quality, well-made tents. There's not a loose thread on this shelter. The seams look great. The stitching looks great. Everything here looks amazing, especially for the price of $164. As far as issues go, the only thing that I do not like about this tent are the placement of the vents. They are right up at the top of the tent. Because on the inside of those vents, the walls do not go up very high. Let's say that you had this tent set up, a thunderstorm comes in. If it's windy, blown rain and water can easily go inside of this tent. Because of that, if there's even a chance of wind and rain, you will need to make sure to close those vents. That is the only issue that I see with this tent. As far as vestibule space goes, you have tons of it. As far as the doors, they're huge, they're easy to get into and out of. As far as space goes, there is a ton here. There's enough space for 4 people, easy, no problem. Ventilation inside of this tent is going to be very good because the company made some smart decisions. You could pull the Fly away from the body, and the Fly itself does not go all the way down to the ground. What we're talking about here is a separation between the Fly and the body itself, and also the ground. All of this promotes airflow and ventilation, which is exactly what you want in the warmer months. Let's take a second here and let's talk about value and price, because what Teton Sports is offering here for the money is incredible. You know, there's very few shelters out there that match what this offers. Yes, you can go out and you could find 4-person like Coleman tents for an example, but they do not offer the same ventilation as this. They don't offer you the same quality as this. The simple truth is this, everybody, there's not that many 4-person tents out on the market that you can actually trust. There are a few companies that do make good quality 4-person tents, but with those name brand companies, you're going to pay a ton of money. Take Marmot for an example. They have a 4-person tent that's made with basically the same materials as this, but get this, their tent cost $400. We have 2 other points that we should talk about here. First, the storage size of this tent is rather large. If you plan to go backpacking with this tent, you will need a large backpack because this is going to take up a ton of space. If you split the weight with other members of your party, that's great, that's going to help. But if one person is going to carry the entire tent, it is rather large, and at the same time, it's quite heavy. Again, this is a 4-person tent that weighs over 10 pounds. 10 pounds for a 4-person tent, that's quite heavy. Most 4-person tents will weigh about 6 to 7 pounds. but not this one here. Again, this is over 10. And with that being said, everybody, I am done. This is a first look at the Mountain Ultra 4-person tent. As it stands right now, I am very impressed. Coming up very soon, I will have my rain testing with this shelter, and we'll see together whether or not we have any issues. I do not suspect that we will. Over the years, I have used Teton Sports tents all around the country, and I've never had a single problem, never a single leak. And I do not suspect to have any issues with this tent here. So far, the quality looks to be excellent. Teton Sports, good job on keeping that up. By the way, everybody, Teton Sports has one of the best warranties in the business, and this means a lot. If you ever have an issue with one of their products, they have your back. Everybody who's reached out and shared a story with me has had their issue taken care of, and that means a lot. Make sure to sound off in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts about the Teton Sports Mountain Ultra 4-person tent? What do you all think about this company? Do you think this tent is going to leak in the rain? Sound off. If you have found this episode helpful, hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel quite a bit. Make sure to stay tuned for the testing with the Teton Sports Mountain Ultra 4-person tent. Everybody, be well, strength and honor. Bye for now.